Enjoy the show.
What up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to episode number 120 of Siriani Says Sports. It's the dynamic duo. So let me explain what's going on here. So Lauro Antonio, if you don't catch Talking Sports with Lauro on that, please do. Is our secondary show. So Lauro Antonio has a gig with Valley Sports Telegram, which is a news publication for sports in the state of California, which is based on high school and college sports. So he's got that gig going on most of the time on Tuesdays, so he'll be absent for today. But Lauro, of course, Talks with Lauro Matt will still go on, as always, on Saturdays. And then we got this show going on Tuesdays. However, there will be an announcement at the end of this regarding the Tuesday shows. Anyways, I'm Matt Siriani, and I love the fact that I do this show every Tuesday night. And that's Ryan Barrington Jr. How you doing, Ryan?
I'm doing good, Maddie. 2-week hiatus, obviously, but had to come back to school. School started, so I'm busy grounding that out. But obviously, Maddie, happy to be back, obviously. So a lot has happened in the sports world recently.
A lot of stuff in the sports world recently, but a lot of football stuff to get into. Even though there were 2 games, there's still a whole bunch of news that broke out over the last 24 hours. So we're going to get into that. And obviously, we have a chase for the scoring title in a career. LeBron James is playing the New York Knicks right now. And we'll give you updates throughout the game. He's looking for 117. That's the magic number. He's probably not going to hit 117 tonight. But we'll see how close he can get to 117 throughout the next several days or so. He's definitely not going to do it in January, I can tell you that much. Can you imagine he scores 117 points in the Garden?
I'll be frustrated.
I'd imagine. All right, Bears, we got lots to get into, so let's get started. But before we start off the show, I would like to give a shout out to our sponsors. So Siriani Says Sports is sponsored by the following: Outback Steakhouse in Milltown, Aussie Rules, Val's Enterprises, building projects for success, DAS Technology Consulting, simplifying technology, Jag One Physical Therapy, official therapy provider for the teams you love, the Greatest Foundation of New York, support, empower, educate, enhance, the Integrated Planning Group, client-focused, device-driven, and by Rocco's Original Italian Ices, a sweet summertime treat all year round. Now, regarding my other job, I don't know if I mentioned that I have another job with the guy behind Rocco's Original Italian Ices, Devin Rocco. I have a job with him. I might add that as a sponsor, but it really depends on how he feels. But anyways, now we can get started. So we got 2 conference championship games on Sunday. One was a dandy, and one was a dud. I'm going to put it this way. We're going to start off with the dud first. I want to start off with the dandy, but I feel like we have to start off with the dud because this was brutal, and I just want to get it out of the way. So the Philadelphia Eagles took on the San Francisco 49ers in Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Brock Purdy, his 3rd playoff game, his 8th career start. We were looking to see how he would do. Toughest test that he had to deal with, and he failed because of injury. In the first quarter, Hassan Reddick forced a fumble, but as Brock Purdy was trying to get the ball out of his hands, his UCL or a muscle of his elbow kind of just broke as he was letting go of the ball. And unfortunately, he did not return for a good portion of the game. Then things got even worse when Josh Johnson came in, and he suffered a concussion in the 3rd quarter. And Brock Purdy had to come back in, but here was the problem. They bring Brock Purdy back in. I figured, okay, this is cool. Brock Purdy's going to come in. He's going to try and lead the team to victory with a broken elbow. Great, right? Ever since Brock Purdy came in, they didn't throw one pass when he came back in. And it almost felt to me like the 49ers had given up. And even Brock Purdy on the sideline said to Kyle Shanahan, I don't know if you could read lips, Ryan. He said to Kyle Shanahan as soon as he came out of the game, he said, I can't throw.
Yeah, thank God for Twitter, dude. Those guys are doctors, rip leaders. Those guys on Twitter, dude, they're all over the place. They're fantastic.
But literally, Brock Purdy said, I can't throw. So Josh Johnson had to come in, and he didn't really do much. He actually lost a fumble in the game. It was not a pretty game for the 49ers. The most interesting part of the game actually came towards the end. When Trent Williams went ape shit WWE style.
That's crazy.
And just slammed Kevon Wallace to the ground, and then he got ejected for that. But it was just, like I said, the Eagles just dominated offense, defense, special teams. And you know what the funny thing is? Jalen Hurts only had 121 yards passing in this game.
You know what else is funny?
Oh, God.
Brian could have won $400, but he lost by 9 feet.
Yeah, Miles Sanders screwed you.
9 feet. Maddie, I saw this thing, right? And I know like we do a lot of like not gambling advice, but we do a lot of stuff like that, right? And I
Mhm.
will just tell people again, bet what you are comfortable losing, but like I'm not gonna lie to you, Maddie, like when people say like, and I don't believe personally the NFL is rigged. I know we're gonna get into that a little bit, like based on the next game, because I know some people made allegations about it. But like, I don't understand, dude, Maddie, what the hell Vegas does, what Vegas knows, Maddie. But like, I saw the stats. How many times? So Miles Sanders finished the first half right with 2 rushing touchdowns, and 40 yards, right? And first off, I'll preface. So my bet was I put I think $40 down, but it was that
Mhm.
the fact that it was a Christian McCaffrey anytime scorer, Miles Sanders anytime scorer, Christian McCaffrey 55 plus rushing, Kenny
Mhm.
Gainwell 11 plus rushing, and Miles Sanders 45 plus rushing. If all those hit, I would have won 400. Right? And 4 out of the 5 hit. Kenny Gainwell, Christian McCaffrey, both of them, and then Miles Sanders his touchdown. But Maddie, do you know how many times Miles Sanders got the ball in the second half?
None.
He got the ball one time. Got
One
the ball for
time.
2 yards. What does like, bro? Like, part of me thinks, Maddie, like that there's people in like Vegas, like at all these studios, are like, oh, look at this kid. They're like, yeah, this kid in Jersey right now has got like $400 he can win, and this guy's got $5. He's like, yo, tell Philly, like, just don't play him. Like, part of me is just like, how does that happen? Like, how does that guy get the ball one time? Like, it's one thing to not even get it, but you give him to him one time. Like, really?
There has to be some conspiracy theories going on.
I'm convinced. I don't know what the hell Vegas does or what they know, but like I don't think the NFL's rigged. I'm fascinated, dude. Like even on the second game, right, Maddie? I lost both my bets on Sunday
Mhm.
off of one part, right? But like I don't know what Vegas knows, dude, but like it's crazy.
It is kind of crazy when you think about it. The fact that you came this close to winning $400 is
9
crazy.
feet.
9 feet. Oh my god, it's just heartbreaking. You know what else is frustrating? The Empire State Building was lit green for the Philadelphia Eagles.
I get it. I know, Maddie. Like I don't want the Eagles to win either. Like I as a New York fan, right? You're prone to hate Philly, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was never rooting for the Eagles anyway because like I'm kind of gunning for the Chiefs for other reasons for that. But like I don't really think I have a problem for it. Like I know like it symbolizes that New York is kind of with Philly and really like that couldn't be more from the truth. Like for
Right.
me, it doesn't really bother me that much, but I do understand what you're saying. I mean, this Philly winning nonsense has to stop.
It's gotta stop. And you want to know what the funny thing is? I'm in a Discord with a lot of people who know sports across the country.
Mm-hmm.
And I said I want Philly to suffer the same way their soccer team did and the same way the Phillies did. They go to the championship and lose.
Yeah.
And you want to know why that hurts so much? Because you come this close to winning it all.
But when it hurts so good for us, Maddie? When it hurts so good?
Oh, God, don't even get me started with that shit. Don't even get me started with that. Hurts so good. Oh, my God. But I'm going to be honest. Philadelphia just looked dominant throughout this postseason run. I cannot believe
Dude, they have the best offensive line in football, and it's not close. Like,
Mm-mm.
I haven't seen this, Maddie, and I wasn't alive really for, like, those dominant, like, Cowboys, like, Zeke Elliott. Like, well, not I was alive, but I wasn't really, like, into sports at that point.
Yeah.
I missed, obviously, the whole Emmitt Smith with, like, Larry Allen and all those guys, but, like, dude, this was, like, this team all year, Maddie, was just like, yeah, we're going to run the ball, good luck.
Yeah.
And you would think, Maddie, that the Niners with the best defensive team in football, right? And they got ran all over.
Oh, yeah. The running game just could not be stopped. It was embarrassing. It was really, really embarrassing. It was so embarrassing that they could not get a turnover, that Trent Greenlaw tried to punch the football out from Kenneth Gainwell or Boston Scott's hands, and they got penalized for that. It was just that kind of day.
All I'm gonna say, Maddie, is your boy Kayvon Thibodeau over there, Maddie. He needs to shut his mouth.
Kayvon Thibodeau? Oh, boy.
Because he's like, oh, we did better than the Niners. Listen, buddy, like the same thing happened, and like we went on to thinking, and like what I'll say, Maddie, is like next year, dude, like, and in terms of like Giants fans or anything else, like I saw an article about something.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like the NFC, dude, right now. Like, and I don't want to put the Niners like in a class below Philly because I still believe that they are in that same class.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, if Brock Purdy played that whole game, or even like like if some circumstance went the other way, right? But I still think like for the NFC, Maddie, it's hard as a Giant fan. Everybody, it's Philly, it's the Niners, and then it's everybody else, and that gap, Matt, is a lot. Especially now with the whole thing Dallas doing, because again, the Cowboys do what the Cowboys do best, and they scapegoat the wrong guys. You gotta love it.
You gotta love it.
But it's hard. It's hard for an NFC team now, Maddie, to come back from where to get into this class.
It really is because, like we've said this before, the AFC is far more superior than the NFC. But in the NFC, it's like a literally 1-2 man show, and we thought Dallas was the answer, but then they collapse as usual. Whatever can go wrong will go wrong, like that's the saying. And we wait and we wait and we wait and we wait for the Cowboys to do something, and they just fall apart at the worst possible time. And then the NFC side, we're probably gonna talk about this on the next show. Aaron Rodgers might actually head to New York to play for your Jets.
Don't say that, Maddie. I don't want the Maddie. I don't want none of your stuff, Maddie. None of your jinxes or anything.
Oh my god!
Like you see, Maddie. The problem is now I've conditioned myself now to one of Aaron Rodgers or Derek Carr, and like now with the whole Aaron Rodgers stuff, I don't really want Derek Carr. Like I was the big like Derek Carr show, right? Because I didn't think Aaron Rodgers was actually gonna be available. And now Maddie with everything, like it just seems like such an Aaron Rodgers thing to do for all this stuff to come. He's like, nah, I'm gonna go back to Green Bay. Screw it. It's like, thanks. Like the man gave me hope and then ripped it from me. But honestly, man, I'm hoping, dude, but I don't know how to feel right now. I'm trying to keep an open mind, but again, Zach is not him. Mike White is not him. They need like one of Derek Carr or Aaron Rodgers because Jimmy G can actually like not Jimmy, not Tannehill, none of that.
Yeah, we're going to get into why this whole Aaron Rodgers speculation is going on when we get to the head coaching hirings and even the coordinator hirings, because that was actually really interesting what transpired over the last week or so. Like I said, we didn't do the show last week. So
the last 3 hours, Maddie, today was insane.
The last 3 hours, exactly. So that's where we're going to get into the whole Aaron Rodgers debate and why he might actually go to the Jets and maybe he might not go to the Jets. It's really just up in the air. But now it comes to the San Francisco 49ers. We'll bring our conversation back to San Fran. Brock Purdy had a good run, but he tore his UCL in the NFC Championship game. He'll be out for 6 months.
Did they confirm that it was a torn?
Yeah, they confirmed it.
Okay, yeah.
He tore his UCL, which is an arm in your elbow.
Yeah, that's Tommy John surgery. As for anybody that watches baseball, it's 6 months, but it's most likely will be a year.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's like the ACL of baseball. Usually, those types of injuries because you gotta get. Yeah, it's rough.
So now, with that all being said, Brock Purdy had a phenomenal year, coming in relief of Trey Lance, coming in relief of Jimmy Garoppolo. They had so much invested in Trey Lance. He gets hurt. Brock Purdy comes in, does well in the playoffs, has this amazing run, has a what could have been game where had he not gotten hurt, we probably could have seen the 49ers probably pull it off if he had stayed healthy. We don't know. But now for the 49ers, what do you do at quarterback at this rate? Is it Jimmy G? Is it Trey Lance? Is it Brock Purdy? What is it?
Well, so I saw a thing today, Maddie, that they said that Trey Lance should be clear for OTAs, that he's doing pretty good on his torn ACL. But if you're the Niners, dude, I don't think you put your whole season into Trey Lance because if Trey Lance, like, doesn't work out or gets hurt, I don't know where they're going, Maddie. And I have a bad feeling in my stomach, Maddie, that they're getting Tom Brady.
Really?
I think so. I think Tom Brady right now, I know we had all the smoke to Vegas, right? But, like, that's because Vegas was the most stacked team out there, right? I think San Fran's a more attractive place than Vegas right now because if you're Tom Brady, why would you want to go into Patrick Mahomes' division, right, with the Chargers, with Justin Herbert, with Sean Payton and Russell Wilson? Like, why would you want to go there? Why would you want to go into a stacked AFC as opposed to stay in the NFC, in a conference in the NFC West that seems like it's still pretty much wide open? I mean, Seattle, you think is still going to be there, right? But, like, the Rams looked bad last year, and then Arizona's just an absolute just shit show. And then you're in the NFC, so, I mean, I don't know. I think, like, if you're Tom Brady, dude, the Niners are pretty damn appealing right now.
I did hear the rumors about San Francisco, and one of the reasons why, I should say, that this rumor is coming up is because if you watch the documentary called The Brady Six, you would know Tom Brady grew up in San Mateo, California, loved the Niners as a kid, loved them, grew up watching Joe Montana, and wanted to be in San Francisco originally, but then the Niners passed on time and time and time again. So that's the reason why this whole thing is coming up. And also with the Brock Purdy situation, and if they're not confident in Trey Lance at all, then that could be the reason why Tom Brady decides to go there. Will that happen? I have no idea. I think this free agency cycle is going to be interesting. Because you got Rodgers, you got Brady, you got Carr, and a whole bunch of other free agents that are out there that might want to go to different places.
Yeah, no, it's going to be interesting, dude.
Is it going to be as interesting as last year? Probably not. But
I mean, last year we had Russell Wilson and Deshaun Watson get traded, so I don't know about that, but it's gonna be pretty. It would be pretty good, dude. I'm not gonna lie. I think if Aaron Rodgers leaves, it could be very interesting because I think Lamar now is not going nowhere.
Really?
I think Lamar's getting the fat franchise tag, and he's sitting on Baltimore this year.
That's interesting. That's interesting, considering all the speculation that's been going on about him missing out on the playoff game and him not being around for the last 5 or 6 weeks of the season for Baltimore, and the rumors of him probably going to Atlanta because they need a quarterback because I don't know about Desmond Ridder being fully ready yet. It's interesting that you brought that up. But we'll have to see what happens. Like, this offseason, like I said, is going to be tell the tale and set the table for what we're going to see in 2023. All right. So I digress. We're going to get into the AFC Championship game now, and this, man, I can watch this game 5 times over. That's how good this game was.
No, the game was crazy.
Joe Burr. Oh, boy. So this was another dandy. Obviously, if you remember the first AFC Championship game between the Bengals and Chiefs, it was 27-24. And in a span of a calendar year, rather, the Chiefs lost to the Bengals 3 times in a calendar year. Week 17 of 2021 was in the very beginning of the year. The AFC Championship game was in 2022, and then Week 13 of 2022, all in a calendar year. 2022 AFC Championship game, the rematch that we were all anticipating. We figured it was going to be a high-scoring affair. It didn't really turn out to be that way, but it left you on the edge of your seat. I was calling that game with Laurel. I could not believe what I was watching. So what happened? So let's go through some stats, rather. Both teams start off slow. It's 13-6 at halftime. Pretty slow pace offensively. Patrick Mahomes bangs up his ankle again. You figured that, oh boy, maybe the Bengals have a chance. 13-6 at halftime. Second half, things pick up the pace a little bit. But one who did not have a good night, it was the Bengals offensive line, who were missing 3 starters. They allowed 5 sacks, 4 in the first quarter. Parlays for the Super Bowl, Behringer?
I don't know about that. I mean, you're welcome to jump in on my you are too, Maddie. I'm throwing $100 before the game even starts.
Really?
Yeah, we bet in a coin toss every Super Bowl. $100.
I know your philosophy.
Best odds you get. I don't know about that. The tails never fails has been kind of failing me recently, so I don't know. We'll see.
All right, we'll talk about that.
It'll either be a good start to the Super Bowl or a bad one. I mean, I could be $100 richer, or I could be down 100, literally within 5 seconds. So I don't know. We'll see.
Good point. All right, so Chiefs got 5 sacks. They picked off Joe Burrow twice. Mahomes was incredible in this game. 29 of 43, 326 yards, 2 touchdown passes. And he outplayed Joe Burrow for the first time in their rivalry. Joe Burrow was 26 of 41, 271 touchdown, 2 picks. I think the real turning point in the game that gave you the hope that the Bengals would actually come back and win was when the Bengals were down 20-13, and Mahomes fumbled his first career playoff for the first time in the playoffs in his career. And it wasn't like a tuckle thing. Like, the ball didn't even come forward. He was trying to get rid of the ball, but it just kind of slipped out of his hand before he could even throw it. And then Sam Hubbard on top of it. Jamar Chase made an incredible 4th down catch late in the game on the 4th quarter. Neither team could run the football. I'll just put it that way. Neither team could run the football. Maybe the Bengals could. They had 70 yards rushing.
You're telling me, Matty, the other part of my parlay was Isaiah Pacheco, 45 plus rushing yards. I mean, shoot, Matt, I bet with logic, one would think that Patrick Mahomes on a high ankle sprain would not throw the ball 47 times. But again, what do I know? Bet with logic, look what happens.
All right. Both teams could run the football. The key play of the game that actually put the game away was when the Chiefs were driving with under a minute left to go. Mahomes scrambles, gets a first down, but then Joseph Asai hits Mahomes late out of bounds, gives him the 15-yard penalty. As opposed to a 60-yard kick, it'd be a 45-yard kick. And Harrison Butker does Harrison Butker things, kicked it through the uprights, 23-20. Bengals try to do a lateral on a kickoff return with 3 seconds to go, and it didn't work out. So, Joe Burrow is not immune to Patrick Mahomes. He's not. He gets his first career loss against Mahomes in a 23-20 game. This was actually really good. I enjoyed this game. And I enjoyed the class of both quarterbacks after the game. If you saw the Siriani Sports chat, Ryan, Mahomes and Burrow were after the game. They both praised each other, said, "Good game. You have a hell of a career going on." It was great to see. And I know people say all the time, "Well, Joe Burrow is not really the top dog of the AFC." He's not the top dog of the AFC, but you know what? He's pretty darn close. People say Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes are the top two guys. I don't really think so. At least not with Josh Allen. And I know Josh Allen is in your division, so you can have your own opinions about that. But I just think that Burrow and Mahomes is the top rivalry in the AFC right now.
No, I would agree. I think it's definitely Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes. I mean, it seems pretty close to that Brady Peyton Manning rivalry. We had Peyton Manning obviously in Denver. Most relevant is when we had that. But I think it is probably that. But again, I mean, there's a lot of good ones, dude. Like we can have don't be surprised, Matt, if Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes picks up a lot of steam next year.
Good point. Yeah, Burrow and Mahomes is definitely up there. I like Allen and Mahomes. Like it's a good game, and they're pretty even. But has Josh Allen, other than the 2020 AFC Championship game, Josh Allen hasn't really gotten too far in the playoffs.
No, the problem is with Buffalo is they can beat them in the regular season in Kansas City. They can't touch them in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, they can.
They also can't get past Cincinnati to get to them. But
you have to get through Cincinnati at this point. Like Cincinnati looked incredible in the divisional round. That's when it was like, wow. And I'm going to be honest. I'm a Giants fan. I love Joe Burrow. I love the guy. Well, what's not to like about the guy? He's cocky. He's confident. He's young. They did a piece on him on Postseason NFL Countdown, and they used the legendary Joe Namath to promote the guy and literally put him over like a wrestling thing. And actually, I thought I wanted this to be Joe Burrow's year. If it wasn't going to be the Giants' year, I wanted it to be Joe Burrow and the Bengals' year.
That's what it's Pat Mahomes season again. Matty, this is Patrick Mahomes' world. We're all just living in it.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question. There was a lot of conversation that if Joe Burrow had won this game, he would have passed Mahomes in the pecking order. Now that Joe Burrow has human and he actually loses to Patrick Mahomes, is it back to the whole this is Mahomes era?
I mean, people aren't gonna like that I'm gonna say this, but it's been the Mahomes era, and Joe Burrow has just kind of been like a guy in his way, right? For me, right, I think the whole Joe Burrow stuff, I think he's a really good quarterback, right? But I think he's also on one of the most loaded offensive teams in football, right? Mm-hmm. Outside of their offensive line, look at their skill positions. They have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, which outside of probably Tyreek and Waddle, and then outside of probably Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, they're probably a top 5 receiving duo in the league. They probably have the best receiving trio in the league with Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. They have Joe Mixon. They have Hayden Hurst in the back. They have pass catchers all over the place, and their line is bad. But I mean, shit, Matt. Me and you can probably stand behind that offensive line, get 3 seconds, and throw a ball up to Jamar Chase or T. Higgins because that catch I saw T. Higgins make. I mean, you're telling me obviously it's a crazy back shoulder throw, right? But you're telling me I can't make kind of a pretty good high point pass to a 6'4" guy that has a ridiculous vertical. I'm not putting any shame on Joe Burrow. I'm just saying what I saw Patrick Mahomes do this year, especially in that game, right, with no Tyreek, with Kelsey basically playing with a broken back, right? None of his top 3 receivers, no Juju, no
MVS.
No, MVS played. He had the 100-yard game. No Juju, no
Kadarius Toney,
no Kadarius Toney, and then no McCole Hardman. What I saw him do was actually pretty insane. Because it was they didn't run the ball, Matt. He threw the ball 47 times and basically carried him on a high ankle sprain, Matt. that for most people it takes 4 weeks to heal. Some people it takes like 6. So like
Mhm.
to get them fully back. So that to me is absurd. And then plus the season he had, Matt, he had an MVP season without arguably the best player on their team in Tyreek Hill last year.
That's a good point. That's a good point. You led the
So
league in passing.
it's been Patrick Mahomes' it's been the Patrick Mahomes era, dude. It's just Joe Burrow's another one of those guys that is good, but he's just not on that Pat Mahomes level.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one to say. I'm on the Joe Burrow hype train. I know you're gonna say, well, I know I just told you it's the Mahomes era. I think Joe Burrow's gonna win a Super Bowl down the line.
I'm not saying he's not going to win a Super Bowl. I'm just saying when it's all said and done with Patrick Mahomes going to be the greatest quarterback of this era. Like outside of like this, Tom Brady's the old era, right? Like we know like the new era from the old, like the Tom Brady, the Big Bens, the Eli Manning's, Philip Rivers, like all those. They're like the old gen. Patrick Mahomes will be the best quarterback of this new generation.
And really, the only two people left in the old generation are Brady and Aaron Rodgers. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, relative. Like Matt Ryan's like kind of still there. Like he's kind of there.
Matt Ryan.
I think like Jimmy G, Kirk Cousins, they're all kind of like that, like in between Derek Carr. They're on like that in between era. But like I'm talking about like the old heads and then, like these young up and comers, like probably like Pat Mahomes and on. Like yeah, he will be like the greatest of this era.
Yeah, I think so because he's got the combination of mobility, and
especially if he wins, dude. Like, dude, Andy Reid right now is not hanging it up, dude, until he either like dies or Patrick Mahomes retires. So he's coaching until one of those two things happen.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Because I think that Patrick Mahomes is great, and if he wins another Lombardi Trophy, we can officially say it's Patrick Mahomes era. And I know 2 years ago on this show, after Tom Brady beat Mahomes in the Super Bowl, which we talked about, I think you said at the time it's still the Mahomes era, and I think now it's kind of solidified a little bit.
I mean, why do quarterbacks not want to come to the AFC right now? Because of guys like Patrick Mahomes, because of guys like Joe Burrow, because of like all these guys. That's why the NFC is so much more appealing. But like, as much as we hate to say it, the AFC is run by Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, and it's just a fact.
That's a good point. Because honestly, no one wins more consistently than that group. No one wins more consistently than the Chiefs.
They went to 5 consecutive AFC championships, man. Name me a team that's done that outside like the 49ers and the Dallas Cowboys. Not many.
The Patriots.
Yeah, them too.
Went to 8 straight.
But I'm saying like those 3 teams outside of the Chiefs were dominant. Like the Niners were dominant, the Cowboys were dominant, the Patriots were dominant. Like this Chiefs team, Matt, what we're seeing them do, Matt, is dominance. In an AFC, Matt, that is loaded.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So props go to them. I gotta give it to them. But now comes the interesting part. The Bengals in free agency, from what I hear, they're gonna probably extend Joe Burrow. They're probably gonna pencil in Jamar Chase in the next year or two. T. Higgins is probably gonna stick around, you would think. Tyler Boyd and Hayden Hurst
gone.
They're gone.
I think Joe Mixon's gone too, though. When Joe Mixon's done too.
Because the
problem is, Matt. The problem with the Bengals, right? It's that their owner is considered cheap, right? And
yeah, Mike Brown.
He can change that, right? But that's like with the whole Andy Dalton there, that was like their big problem is they never really got top tier talent for Andy Dalton. And obviously things changed because a lot of their top talent now they drafted, right? Which is a lot different than having to go out in free agency and pay guys. But like obviously we've seen them go out, they pay Trey Hendrickson a lot of money, they're paying Sam Hubbard. Like this offseason, Maddie, they got both their safeties are free agents, Von Bell and Jesse Bates. I don't think they hold on to either of them. I think Jesse Bates is going to get around $21 million. Von Bell probably around like 12 to 15. So I don't know what they're doing there, but yeah, dude, like they said, like their main priority is signing Joe Burrow, but like this is the problem, dude, with these teams. Like this is why it's so hard to win. You got to win on guys with rookie contracts because now when you're going to pay those 3 guys and Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins, I don't know how the hell that defense can do anything.
Good point. Yeah, because other than Hendrickson and Hubbard, there aren't going to be a lot of top-tier defensive players on that roster. There aren't. And that's where free agency comes into play. And you mentioned Mike Brown being cheap. He is. He really, really is. You mentioned the Andy Dalton era. He prioritized Dalton and A.J. Green. He didn't prioritize anybody else.
No, that was it. You saw guys walk in and out of that building. They had who was the running back that went to the Patriots?
Giovanni Bernard.
No, the other one. The one before him.
Not
Sean. Oh, shoot. I'm forgetting his name. I'll figure it out. I'll look it up, but just continue.
Yeah, but they had a lot of running backs. They had a lot of receivers. Like it was AJ Green, Andy Dalton, and that was it. They didn't prioritize about any other player at Cincinnati Bengals at the time. And then when that era came to a crash, they rebuilt it, and now you got Burrow in here and Chase, who are going to be the top dynamic duo in the NFL for probably the next 10 to 12 years. And Mike Brown's going to prioritize signing those guys, and he is cheap because he didn't really.
Corey Dillon.
What's up?
Corey Dillon.
That's what I just said. I said Corey Dillon.
Oh, you did? Okay, sorry, yeah.
I remember Corey Dillon, yeah. But that's the thing with the ownership. Like, you got to be able to adapt and actually go with the time and try and be consistent with what you're doing.
Also with that, too, it puts a lot of pressure on the GM, too. Like, look at the Chiefs, Matt. Did you see the stat, Matt, that after L'Jarius Sneed got hurt, they had 3 rookie corners playing?
Yeah.
Like, so now what happens is when you got to pay these guys, then you got to get good, then you got to start drafting good, right? So if they pay these 3 guys on offense, they're going to have to start drafting good corners, good safeties that are going to be good year 1, year 2, so then they can go back on more runs. And that's why it gets so hard, Matt, when you pay quarterbacks $60 million, which probably is what Justin Herbert, like Lamar, Joe Burrow, like they're all probably getting 50 to 55 million fully guaranteed, which is absurd to me, right? And Jamar Chase probably going to get around 30. T. Higgins probably around 20. Like, so you're going to have $100 million in 3 guys. Like, it's hard to supplement the cap, even when the cap is, like you saw, like this week, it was like $240 million. They just said it was going to go up to.
Yeah.
Only $144 million for what, 20 other guys? That's absurd.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. Oh boy, the Bengals got a lot of decisions to make. The decision making, that's what's interesting for teams in the offseason who get eliminated. Like, they have a lot of decision making, but decisions are decisions, and actually the most important ones when it comes to leading a football team are coaching hires. So we're going to get into the head coaching hires that happened over the last 3 days, really 3 hours, because there were 2 massive head coaching hires that happened over the course of the evening. Where we're going to start off with the first one, and that is the fact that Frank Reich, former head coach for the Indianapolis Colts, is now the new head coach of the Carolina Panthers. They did not remove the interim tag from Steve Wilkes. He's going to be, I think he's going to still be on the staff. He's just not going to be the head coach. I think he'll probably be assistant head coach.
Well, you saw he may go to San Fran, right?
I heard that. Yeah, that's actually kind of surprising. I was a little bit shocked about that because I felt that Steve Wilkes is not the greatest head coach. I mean, he had 1 year in Arizona where things did not pan out at all. But Steve Wilkes could have gotten himself another opportunity. But you know what? You go with the experienced guy, Frank Reich, has experience of taking the Colts to the playoffs, has worked with a lot of talent. But now his main priority is going to be quarterback. They tried Baker Mayfield. They tried Sam Darnold. They tried P.J. Walker. They tried so many guys, and I just don't think that any of those guys are the answer. So now you take the draft. The Panthers have the 9th overall pick in the draft. Do you go quarterback? Do you go Anthony Richardson? Do you go with Will Levis if he's still there? What do you do?
Both those guys, Maddie, don't check it off for me, Maddie. I mean, from history, Maddie, Josh Allen and Zach Wilson, right? One's really, really, really good, and one's really, really, really bad. And it's no in between, right? Will Levis and Anthony Richardson are the college versions of of Josh Allen and Zach Wilson. Didn't go to, I mean, outside, not Richardson much, right? More, Richardson's more the Trey Lance type where he's raw, like really raw, and is not going to start year 1. But Will Levis is kind of that guy. He went to like, not like a crazy, crazy football school in Kentucky, right? Which obviously the name Kentucky, right? They're a big name school, right? They're not a football school. Kind of like Zach Wilson, kind of like Josh Allen, where they went to Wyoming and BYU respectively. They're being compared to like big athlete, big arm. Like this is what we heard about Zach Wilson, Josh Allen coming out. And if you're the Panthers, I wouldn't take Will Levis and I wouldn't take Anthony Richardson. Because for them, I think they're going to need a plug-and-play starter like week 1 because I don't think Sam Darnold's it. I don't think P.J. Walker's it. And I don't think Matt Corral's it. What I would do personally, and I know it sucks, I would try and look for next year when you got
Caleb
Williams and the other guy, not Trevor May. Oh, what's his name? Dustin May?
Dustin May, yeah.
What is it? The guy from North Carolina. What's his name? Something May. Like you got those 2 guys who are projected to be better than anybody this year, and Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud. But I mean, teams don't look at you. Some teams do it, some teams don't. I wouldn't touch Levis or Richardson. I think they might though.
Yeah.
I think I will say this, dude, Matty. I think the Seattle Seahawks draft Anthony Richardson. Mark my words.
Oh, wow, interesting.
Really, just watch.
I can't wait to go over the draft board.
Oh, I've already been doing research.
Yeah,
I can't help myself.
I know you're a huge draft person. You love the draft.
It's fun. I can't help myself. It's fun. That's why I hope the Jets don't trade their first round pick because it's so fun. And I'm like, well, like if they don't have like I was my friend Aiden right now. So the Niners don't have a pick now till the third round. I'm like, that's miserable. I'm like, that's awful. Like, that's terrible. Like from
you invest so much in a guy that you don't know if he's going to be good or not.
No, but it was also CMC. But dude, I know like these top 25 guys like inside and out. Like it's absurd. It's bad, dude. I probably know more about sports than I know about school, which is not good. But I know.
That's okay. All right, so Frank Reich has a big job to do. I think the hire is pretty decent because Frank Reich is a good offensive mind, but he's got a lot of work to do. I mean, that rule left a disaster for Steve Wilkes. Steve Wilkes made the most of it, didn't really amount to a playoff spot, but it did amount to some confidence into next year that the Panthers could actually do something with themselves in 2023. And now the next hire. This is actually kind of surprising. So the Miami Dolphins had a first-round pick. Then they trade away for Bradley Chubb to the Denver Broncos. Then the Saints get the pick because Sean Payton's rights are traded to the Denver Broncos. He'll be the next head coach of the Denver Broncos. He gets to work with Russell Wilson. And the Broncos will not have a first-round pick now for, I think, the next 2 years. They had a first-round pick, but then they got rid of it as soon as they acquired Sean Payton's rights. I don't know about you. I'm kind of hyped with this hire. Because Sean Payton likes Russell Wilson. I've heard him talk about him.
I think Sean Payton messed up. I'm not going to lie to you.
Really?
I think he should have waited. I think Sean Payton should have sat out a year and waited to see whatever team had the number one pick. They draft Caleb Williams and go there. That's what I would have done if I was him. Because, dude, that Denver team, I know they're loaded with talent, but, Russ looks so bad. He looks so bad. And, I don't know. We just saw, how much Hackett is getting absolutely just roasted for how bad he did. Mm-hmm. Right? And, as much as, Sean Payton's a better coach than Nathaniel Hackett, you really want to go there? Really? You want to go to – I just said, about Tom Brady not going to Vegas. You really want to go into Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert's division? Really?
That's a good point.
I don't know. Next year, you could have went into the AFC. You could have went to, the Falcons or, this – a team that was going to be bad that had the number one pick. Just take any AFC South team, the Bucks, the Falcons. There'll be a lot of bad teams that have the number one pick waiting to draft Caleb Williams, and that's where I would have went if I was him, personally.
I think you made a really good point because there are going to be a lot of teams that are going to fire head coaches next year if things don't work out. I mean, there are only 5 vacancies this year.
Well, also, if I was Sean Payton, he took the wrong AFC West job.
Yeah.
If I was him, I was eyeing up the Chargers 100% because I also thought that Brandon Staley was going to be fired. That's still, absurd that he survived.
Oh, my God.
The fact that they fired their OC instead of their head coach, who's a defensive mind who blew it ceases to amaze me, Matty, how that guy is still the head coach of the Chargers. But if I was Sean Payton, I'd do one of two things. Like I said, wait for Caleb Williams, see whatever team's got him, or wait until inevitably the Chargers choke again and fire Brandon Staley and go with Justin Herbert.
Well, believe me, I don't know if I told you this, but the reason why Brandon Staley stayed, even though he lost in the playoffs with a 27-point lead.
I saw it was the owner, right?
The owner wanted to keep him. The players wanted to keep him. Justin Herbert and Austin Eckler were going to bat for Brandon Staley. And Joey Bosa. They were all going to bat for him.
Yeah, but if you're a player, dude, come on, Sean. But you damn well know as a player, dude, that Sean Payton wants to go there. Everybody knew. Everybody that had a brain for sports knew that Sean Payton wanted to go play with Justin Herbert. So, I mean, it's not like you're firing Brandon Staley and getting, a terrible coach, right? You're getting probably a Hall of Fame coach in I don't know.
And I'm kind of surprised that, they survived. Brandon Staley survived, but in order to make room for him to stay, they fired their quarterback coach. They fired their offensive coordinator.
They upgraded, dude. I mean, shoot, they upgraded. Bad.
Yeah. Now Brandon Staley has to win now, and if he doesn't win now,
Yeah, speaking about that, dude, they hire Kellen Moore, dude. Like that. I like that guy. He's good because a lot of people give him flack. I don't give him flack at all, dude. He's had like what is it, 2 top 10 offenses back to back years with Dak freaking Prescott and Cooper Rush. I mean, now, Maddie, if there's anything, dude, it's the Cowboys did the thing that the Chargers did, where they instead of letting the head coach survive for the OC, they're letting the quarterback survive instead of the OC because it is not Kellen Moore's fault that they look flat on offense.
No,
In that wild card game, it is because Dak Prescott is, or the divisional game, it is because Dak Prescott is terrible. And again, like same thing we talked about with Sean McVay and Jared Goff. You cannot tell a quarterback what to do mid play. You can prep him enough, right? But at the end of the day, it's up to the quarterback. And I think that Kellen Moore's play calling and preparation for the Dallas Cowboys was utterly perfect. I just think Dak Prescott is not it. But
I agree with that
you can
sentiment.
move on from Dak Prescott, so the next best thing is to move on from the OC. But the Chargers,
I agree with that.
they upgraded, dude. I can't wait to see that guy with Justin Herbert next year. Oh boy.
Oh, Justin Herbert's going to be awesome next year. He's going to be awesome next year. All right. Now comes the head coaching hire that we weren't really surprised about. I mean, Loro said this till the cows came home. D'Amico Ryan, San Francisco 49ers coordinator, hired as the head coach of the Houston Texans. We knew this was coming because D'Amico Ryan was a former Texan player and apparently has a relationship with Bob McNair, or Cal McNair, who's the owner of the Texans. The problem with the Texans is that they're a disaster, and I don't know how long D'Amico Ryan's going to last.
Depends on who he hires as his staff now, Matty, because now he's got a big task ahead of him trying to develop one of Bryce Younger, CJ Stroud.
Who do you think between Younger Stroud goes number 2 to the Texans?
Depends on if a team jumps. I think they're going to get Bryce Young. I do, because I also think that the Bears are going to. Let me say this: I think the Texans are going to take Bryce Young with the number 1 pick. I think they're going to trade up with the Bears personally. I think the Texans are going to give up their whatever it is, 12, 13 pick, whatever pick they have. Right? They're going to give up that pick. They're going to get Bryce Young, just so the Colts don't jump them if that was a possibility. But, yeah, I think they're going to get Bryce Young as their guy. And it just depends, dude. We saw another defensive coach in Saleh go to the Jets and was tasked with developing a rookie quarterback. So, I mean, for D'Amico Ryans, if he can develop Bryce Young and he's good, he's fine. Because they gave him a 6-year deal, which is a long time. I think Saleh got something like 5 or 6 to with the Jets. But, that means at least 2 to 3 years they're going to commit to him.
Wow. Amazing.
So, good luck.
Good luck, exactly, because D'Amico Ryans' defense last year. The Niners were the number 1 defense in the NFL until they got to the NFC Championship game, and then that's when things kind of exploded. But from what I hear, D'Amico Ryan is going to be a leader of men. From what I hear, he's a very good guy, firm head on his shoulders, knows what he's doing, loves football.
He's a player's coach. Him and Saleh, both players' coaches.
Yeah, they're player coaches, so I think it all works out in the end for the Texans. Hopefully it does. Now there are 2 vacancies left. The Colts and the Cardinals. One job sounds intriguing. One job does not.
Yeah, gross.
The job that sounds intriguing, believe it or not, I say the Colts.
Yeah, no, they're intriguing.
They're intriguing, and the reason why they're intriguing is because you have an all-pro on offense, a really good offensive line, a very good running game, good defense. Your problem is quarterback. That's been the biggest problem the last 5 years since Andrew Luck retired.
They're probably in line to get CJ Stroud or Bryce Young, whatever one doesn't go to Houston is the one they're probably going to get, which, I mean, if you can get the top 2 quarterback in any draft, you're a pretty attractive location. But I agree, and I actually have one guy in mind who I think they're going to go with, but I don't know if they – I don't know if I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it, Maddie, to be honest with you.
Spill the beans.
I saw there's a lot of smoke that they want the Bengals guy. Lou
Amorino?
Yeah, I heard they want him, which I don't know if you should bring in a defensive guy for a potential drafting a quarterback. Same reason with the Texans, but I mean, I don't know. I heard some smoke about him. I mean, the guy I would go with if I was them is I would finally go after our enemy. I think it's about time he should get probably a head coaching job. I mean, you can go after one of the Philly guys, which is not bad, either Steichen or Jonathan Gannon. Those are both not bad options. I would prefer probably Shane Steichen because of his development with Jalen Hurts. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind the Romo hiring, but like I think you got to go one of the Eagles guys, probably Steichen, or you go Bieniemy. That's just me. If you're drafting a quarterback, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point. Shane Steichen's name has come up a bit. That's a really good name. And then Jonathan Gann, the defensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles, has been really good too. I think another name that came up too. I don't know if his name really came up, but I think it's an interesting name. Brian Callahan, who's the offensive coordinator for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
His name came up when I was calling the AFC Championship game, and I think that maybe should be a interesting candidate. But I do agree with Bieniemy. I think Bieniemy's been top of mind for the last couple of years. He's been turned down the last couple of cycles. And honestly, I don't really see why else you wouldn't hire Eric Bieniemy because Dan Quinn's not going to anywhere. He's going to stay with the Cowboys.
That's a good move by him too because he's waiting until next year as well. He wants to go to a better team.
Yeah,
he wants to go to a team that preferably has a quarterback because he's shown he cannot develop a quarterback with his staff.
Yeah, he can't develop a quarterback, but he can damn sure develop a defense.
Yeah, so he wants to go to a Chargers or a team that has a quarterback already.
Yeah, so I like the fact that I like Eric Bieniemy's name a lot, but now the Cardinal job.
Oh yeah.
Who would want to go there? Who would want to go there?
Bro, it depends on who. It depends on if you think Kyler's good. I don't think Kyler's good. I think Kyler's actually terrible. But I mean, I don't know what they do. I mean, like they said, Kyler's gonna have input on it. So honestly, it depends on who Kyler wants. And I think they might be another team to go for Eric Bieniemy too.
One name that Loro has brought up, and I'm shocked that he got fired from his original team in the first place. I heard that Byron Leftwich's name is out there.
That's fair too, but I guess it also depends on what the Cardinals' plan is, I guess, in the draft too, because you're going to a team with the number 3 pick, so it depends on where they're going.
Right.
And obviously, I think the coach and GM would help decide that, but like they're in a very interesting spot. Because another thing too, Matt, Kyler's probably not going to be ready for Week 1.
No, he won't.
You would think Kyler's going to miss probably the first month, maybe 2. So, like, that's also a bet because you're going there and you're like, well, our quarterback's not going to be ready for week. Like, that's just – it's not attractive at all.
That's a good point. Real quick about the Colts really for a second. Loro's been all over this. You got him into this. Oh,
the Fighting Jeff Saturdays?
Yeah, so apparently Jeff Saturday's name is thrown in the loop, and also Dominic Martindale's name has been thrown in the loop for the Colts head coaching job. And as soon as Loro heard that, he put in a hashtag Fighting Jeff Saturdays, and he credits that because of you.
Mm-hmm. Well, I just think it's pretty funny, dude. I'm not going to lie to you. I just like it.
It's funny. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not.
It's not going to happen, but...
It's not going to happen. I mean, 1-7 as an interim coach.
Bro, you really want Jeff Saturday to take CJ Stroud, bro? I don't know about that.
I'm hoping to God that they don't get Dominic Martin.
I mean, if they want Jeff Saturday to be their offensive line coach, I'd sign up for that. I mean, give me probably like an All-Pro Hall of Fame center, right? Jeff Saturday to develop my offensive line. That's fine, but like as a head coach, as a quarterback person, I don't know about that.
And also, I mentioned Dominic Martindale, too. Dominic Martindale, I'm hoping he doesn't go. Because the Giants defense...
I think you got to worry about the other guy, your OC. Mike, what's his, Kafka?
Yeah, Mike Kafka.
He might go over Wink Martindale, personally. If I was a team, that's who I want. I want that guy.
That's a good point. It's solid because I get it with Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley coming out of nowhere this year, and he
was also Patrick Mahomes' quarterback coach in KC, so he was there when they developed Patrick Mahomes. Obviously, that was a lot of Reed and Bieniemy doing it, right? But he had the insight there. Then obviously now he's had the whole insight with Dable with Daniel Jones now. So I mean, he's an interesting name, but he's also very young still.
Yeah, Kafka's up there. I just don't want Dominic Martindale to go because the defense for this year for the Giants was really, really good, and I think that they could go farther in their improvement, in their turnaround with Dominic Martindale staying, and with Brian Dable's obviously going to be coach of the year, I would think. But Mike Kafka, I didn't think about that until now. If they let Kafka go and he becomes the head coach of the Colts, that could be interesting, but it could also be detrimental to the Giants because then they have to get another OC. So that would really be so I don't really see how that would happen. I'm shocked that Kafka's name hasn't come up as much as Martindale has.
No, I don't know, dude.
Interesting. Okay, next up, we're going to go through our opening lines for the Super Bowl and the opening line for the under and over. And we're going to give you our thoughts. So, the opening line, apparently it was a pick-up in the beginning, but then apparently Monday morning it moved for Eagles -2. Now it's at -1.5 Philadelphia. Is that a fair line?
I don't know how you favor. I don't know how you don't go with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl when they've proven they've done it before. But I understand because the Eagles came off, as much as it was like not warranted, they came off a dominant win. So I understand, and they look like the better team right now, dude. But like, if history shows you, dude, against betting against Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid never usually works out.
All right, so then the under and over now is 49.5. This is actually fair.
I think that's an over, personally.
You think it's over? It seems like an over because 49.5 points. These are two teams that can score at will. At least put up 30 each. So yeah, I can see where you're going.
Yeah,
all right. So. Now it's time for the playoff bracket challenge. And Ryan, I hate to spoil the fun, but it was not a good bracket challenge for you. You had the Buffalo Bills winning the Super Bowl.
Listen. Again, Maddie, we do this for hot takes. Now, come on, Maddie, we know this.
Yeah.
We don't go by the book.
Okay, so we're gonna go over the bracket challenge right now and the standings right now. So the wild card games, Ryan got 3 of 6 right.
Nice.
I got 4 of 6 right. Laurel got 5 of 6 right. The only game Laurel did not get right was the Bucs and Cowboys, which we all got wrong. Then it came to the divisional rounds. I was right about the Eagles beating the Giants. I didn't want to do it, but I had to do it because I had to go with my gut at that point, and my gut was telling me Giants had no chance, and they didn't have a chance. Then I had to go with the 49ers or actually Cowboys because actually I lost points for that because I didn't have the Bucs. I had the Bucs in the NFC Championship game, so I didn't get points for that. So I didn't get points for that divisional round game. Then in the AFC side, I had Chiefs and Bengals. I told you Joe Burrow was going to do something. I was just wrong on the outcome of the AFC Championship game. But I told you the Bengals were going to do something. I'm confident. I was confident Joe Burrow going against Josh Allen, and I was right. And then the Chiefs game, that was easy. Although it wasn't if you had the Jaguars +9, you were actually living large because they covered by 2 points. And then the conference championship games, I had the Eagles going to the Super Bowl. I was right. And then I had the Bengals going to the Super Bowl. I was wrong. But overall, I have – let me check right here. So I got 4 points, and I had 2 from the divisional round, and I got 2 more. Okay, so I have like 10 points. I have 10 points so far. And the reason why I have 10 points from the bracket challenge so far, I have 24. I can get 14 if and only if the Eagles win the Super Bowl. Because I picked the Eagles win the Super Bowl and I picked Devontae Smith to be MVP. Actually, if Devontae Smith wins MVP, I'll get 15 points. Then Laurel has 9. He started off hot in the wild card round, but he had the Jaguars beat the Chiefs in the AFC divisional round. Bold move. Really, really bold move. But it didn't work. And then he had the Buffalo Bills going to the Super Bowl. That didn't work either. And then, he had the Bills and Jags in the AFC Championship game. Bold take. Really bold take. But it didn't work out. The AFC side, he was actually right on the money. He had the 49ers and Eagles in the NFC Championship game, and he had the Eagles going to the Super Bowl. So he was right about that. And then you had 3 games right in the in the wild card round. The divisional round, this is where it really hit you. Actually, this is where the wild card games kind of hit you because you had the Chiefs beating the Chargers, which you were right on. You get 2 points for that. But you had the Buffalo Bills winning the Super Bowl, which kind of hurt you in the divisional round, the wild card, the divisional round, the conference championship round, and the Super Bowl round. So that hurts you in those 3 places. So unfortunately, Ryan, you're dead last. But then the NFC side, you had the Eagles going to the Super Bowl, so there's that.
Yeah.
So here's how this can go. Here's how this can finish. Laura and I could tie in the bracket challenge if the Eagles win the Super Bowl and Jalen Hurts is MVP. Because he had Jalen Hurts as Super Bowl MVP. I had Devontae Smith. Why? I don't know.
Hot takes, Matty. We love it.
So Laura and I could tie for first if Jalen Hurts wins Super Bowl MVP and the Eagles win the Super Bowl with 14 points. Ryan, there's no way for you to come back. Unfortunately, I hate to say that.
It is what it is, Matty. It is what it is.
It is what it is. Okay, so before we actually do our closing segment here, we're going to check in on the Knicks and Lakers right now really quick and see what's going on. So it's 60-70-66 in favor of the Lakers. Anthony Davis is actually leading the way for the Lakers with 17 points. LeBron James has 14, so he's 103 behind Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. We're in the third quarter with 6:24 to go.
Can the Knicks please not lose to the Lakers, please? Please. Please.
And then, actually, we'll get into a little bit of basketball really quick before we wrap up. The Brooklyn Nets won a very good game against the Lakers yesterday. They won by 17. And Kyrie Irving had like 5 fourth-quarter points. But the Nets actually look pretty good. But we're going to go over the standings really quick. So the Boston Celtics are just killing everybody. They are killing everyone in their path.
What they tend to do.
Which is what they tend to do. And then in the Western Conference, the Denver Nuggets are actually in first place in the Western Conference. And apparently, from what I'm hearing, we might, unless things change sporadically and Luka Doncic just decides to explode all of a sudden for the rest of the season, apparently Nikola Jokic is favored to win MVP again. I hate to see that.
Yeah.
I have nothing against Nikola Jokic. I just don't want to see the same person win MVP 3 years in a row.
I mean, Giannis did it, so.
No, Giannis went back-to-back.
Oh, he went back-to-back. He won 3 in a row.
Wait, he won 3 in a row?
Yeah, he did.
I gotta look into that. I'm pretty confident.
I thought he did. Maybe I'm losing it. I think he did.
I'm checking Giannis's career stats because I guarantee he won back-to-back. I know for a fact he won back-to-back. I don't know if he won back-to-back-to-back. Let me check right now. I know he's from Athens, Greece. I know that for a fact. I'm checking his Wikipedia page.
Hold on.
NBA. He won NBA Finals MVP in 2021. He won NBA MVP in 2019 and 2020. So it was back-to-back.
All right. Yeah, I saw the final. Damn it. All right, I had it the wrong way in my head.
It's okay. It's okay.
Damn.
We're all wrong. We're all wrong.
Rip.
It's wrong. But anyways, that's going to do it for today's episode. If you want to follow us on all our social media outlets, follow us on Facebook at Siriani Says Sports, on Instagram at Siriani Says Sports, on YouTube at Siriani Says Sports. Follow us on Twitter. We're trying to get straightened out. I don't know what's going on there. Apparently you get hacked and then things kind of flip over. But definitely follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Definitely follow us on those 3 outlets. And actually, this is actually an important announcement. I don't know if I talked to Ryan about this officially. I'm going to a boot camp for Rutgers University in data analytics. This is a virtual thing, so I'll be home doing my thing for 6 months doing this boot camp. I just got an email that the Rutgers boot camp will be on Tuesdays. So
that's 6 to 9. Good luck with that, buddy.
So what's going to happen now is Ryan and I are going to discuss what our next move is going to be. That doesn't mean the show's over. The show must go on, as they say in theater, but this isn't theater. This is a podcast. We're going to figure out our way around this because I love doing the show and Ryan loves doing the show. We love doing the show so much. And we're going to figure out how we're going to do this. If we have to move it to a weekend day, we'll move it to a weekend day for 6 months. But we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. But anyways, from Ryan Barron Jr., I'm Matt Siriani. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in to tonight's episode. We greatly appreciate you so much. Have a great night. Stay safe. And, of course, peace out.
Have a great night, everyone.